You're settling into your seat at midnight, watching ground crews load the last bags onto a Boeing 777. The cabin lights dim. The engines begin their low rumble, and somewhere up front, behind a locked cockpit door, two pilots are preparing to stay awake for the next 14 hours. This is the paradox of modern aviation, an entire industry built around flying through darkness, where passengers dream and pilots. Well, what exactly do pilots do all night while the world sleeps 40,000 feet below? Tonight, across the world, thousands of wide-body jets are taking off into darkness. Singapore to London, Dubai to New York, Sydney to Los Angeles. It's not random, it's orchestrated. And it starts with a biological hack that airlines discovered decades ago. Your body contains an ancient timekeeper, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a cluster of 20,000 neurons behind your eyes that has been regulating sleep cycles since before humans invented fire. Airlines have weaponized this. They know that between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., your body temperature drops, melatonin floods your bloodstream, and your brain desperately wants to shut down. Schedule a departure at 11 p.m., and by the time you reach cruising altitude, you're already surrendering to sleep. But here's what the airlines don't advertise. Sleeping passengers aren't just more comfortable, they're more profitable. A sleeping cabin burns through 40% less water, requires 60% fewer bathroom services, and generates almost zero meal requests during the critical fuel burn hours of flight. Every sleeping passenger saves approximately 2.3 pounds of weight in reduced service items. Multiply that by 350 passengers, and you've saved enough weight to add an extra 15 minutes of fuel reserve. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, a different game entirely is being played. At 12,000 feet above the Pacific, the captain is doing something that might surprise you. He's calculating wind speeds on a piece of paper. Not because the computer can't, but because after 3 hours of autopilot, mental math keeps his mind sharp. His co-pilot and first officer is listening to air-to-air frequencies, where pilots crossing the Pacific share real-time turbulence reports in an unofficial network that no passenger knows exists. This is the secret social network of the night sky. Pilots warning each other about invisible rivers of turbulent air that satellites can't detect and weather radars can't see. Clear air turbulence, the phenomenon that can turn a smooth flight into a roller coaster without warning, strikes most often at night, when temperature differentials between air masses are greatest. But turbulence is just one concern. Every 20 minutes, one pilot must verbally confirm to the other that they're alert, a procedure called controlled rest awareness. It's not in any manual passenger seat, but it's how pilots combat the most dangerous part of night flying, the circadian low point between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., when the human brain practically begs for unconsciousness. Let's talk about finances. A Boeing 787 Dreamliner burns approximately 5,400 pounds of fuel per hour. At night, that same aircraft can save 400 pounds per hour by riding the jet stream, a river of air moving at 275 miles per hour that strengthens after sunset when the Earth's surface cools and atmospheric pressure differentials intensify. Tokyo to San Francisco normally takes 9 hours and 30 minutes. Catch the right jet stream at night, and you'll land 45 minutes early, saving $18,000 in fuel. But the real economic magic happens on the ground. Airports charge what's called slot fees, the cost to take off or land during specific time windows. At London Heathrow, a 3 p.m. landing slot costs £15,000. The same slot at 5 a.m., £4,000. Multiply that difference across 30 daily long hauls, and airlines save millions by flying through darkness. There's also the crew factor. Night flights allow airlines to maximize pilot productivity through a loophole in international aviation law. Pilots can legally fly up to 14 hours if the flight begins during their biological night. Start that same flight at noon, and the limit drops to 11 hours. Those 3 extra hours mean the difference between needing 3 crews versus 4 for routes like Dallas to Hong Kong. So, what exactly fills those dark hours in the cockpit? At 2:30 a.m., somewhere over the international dateline, the captain is engaged in fuel temperature management, a delicate dance few passengers know exists. Jet fuel must stay between -47 degrees Celsius and -37 degrees Celsius. Too cold, and paraffin crystals form, clogging fuel filters. The outside temperature at 41,000 feet tonight is -61 degrees Celsius. Every 15 minutes, he checks the fuel temperature gauges. If they drop below -40 degrees Celsius, he has 3 options. Descend to warmer air, burning more fuel, increase speed, heating the wings through friction, or transfer fuel between tanks, mixing warmer and cooler fuel. The first officer, meanwhile, is recalculating their equal time point. The exact coordinates where flying forward or turning back would take the same time. Over the Pacific, this point shifts constantly with winds. It's not just academic. If a passenger has a medical emergency, knowing whether Anchorage or Honolulu is closer could save a life. At 3:15 a.m., they receive an ACARS message, the aircraft's digital communication system that connects them to their operations center, warning them of volcanic ash in the air. The captain pulls up the weather radar, overlays it with the volcanic ash projection model, and plots a deviation that will add 12 minutes to their flight, but avoid any risk of engine damage from microscopic volcanic glass. This is the hidden choreography of night flying, constant micro-decisions that passengers never see. Here's something airlines prefer you don't think about. While you're sleeping off your jet lag, your pilots are fighting a biological war. Their bodies are screaming for sleep just as yours are, but they've trained to override every natural instinct. Commercial pilots on international routes experience a phenomenon called chronic circadian disruption. Their cancer rates are 15% higher than the general population. Depression affects 12.6% of airline pilots. During that brutal 2 to 5 a.m. window, reaction times slow by 50%, decision-making degrades by 30%, and the risk of microsleeps, involuntary 2 to 3 second blackouts, increases 5-fold. This is why modern long-haul aircrafts hide secret compartments you'll never see. Above the passenger cabin on a 777, accessed through a hidden door that looks like a bathroom panel, lies the crew rest area, 6 coffin-sized bunks where off-duty pilots sleep during ultra-long flights. On flights over 12 hours, there are actually 4 pilots aboard, operating in shifts. While the captain and first officer fly through the night, 2 relief pilots are unconscious above your head, their sleep patterns monitored by cabin crew who will wake them precisely 40 minutes before their shift. Enough time for sleep inertia to clear before they take control. At 4:45 a.m., with dawn still hours away, first officer starts what pilots call the scan, a methodical review of every system on the aircraft. Hydraulics, 3 systems, all green. Electrical, normal. Pneumatics, nominal. Fuel, 42,000 pounds remaining, exactly as calculated. It's not that anything's wrong, it's that monotony is the enemy. Some pilots play mental games. Captain likes to calculate their exact position using only the stars and compass, then check it against GPS. Others bring Sudoku books or practice drawing airport approach plates from memory. One senior captain at Emirates admits to memorizing poetry during quiet stretches. He can recite all of Coleridge's Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by the time he reaches London. At 5:30 a.m., breakfast arrives, always different meals for each pilot, a protocol implemented after 1982 when an entire crew got food poisoning from contaminated salmon. The pilot eats eggs and fruit, while the first has cereal and yogurt. They never eat at the same time. One hand always remains on the controls. As the first hint of dawn appears at 41,000 feet, long before any passenger will see it, something remarkable happens. The aircraft enters Goldilocks airspace over northern Canada, where nighttime departures from Asia, Europe, and North America converge. Air traffic control in Edmonton is managing a three-dimensional chess game with 400 aircrafts, all scheduled to arrive at North American airports between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. to catch the morning connection wave. This is the culmination of night flying's hidden genius. Your red-eye from Tokyo lands in Los Angeles, and you clear customs. In the next hour, you're on a connection to New York, arriving in time for a late lunch meeting. The entire global aviation system is synchronized around these darkness hours, creating what industry insiders call the nocturnal bridge, a planet-wide network where night flights feed morning connections in an endless cascade across time zones. So, the next time you board a long-haul flight, as the airport quiets and the moon rises, remember this: you're not just taking a flight. You're participating in one of humanity's most sophisticated dances, a carefully orchestrated performance where passenger biology, pilot psychology, atmospheric science, and economic imperatives merge into something almost magical. While you surrender to sleep, pilots navigate invisible rivers of wind, monitor temperatures that would freeze your blood solid, and make 100 micro decisions that deliver you safely across oceans. They fight their own exhaustion with Sudoku and Starlight, keeping watch through the darkest hours while 400 souls dream in the cabin behind them. Night flights aren't scheduled for darkness by accident. They're scheduled for darkness because that's when the entire system works most beautifully. When jet streams are strongest, airports are emptiest, connections align perfectly, and human bodies naturally cooperate with the demands of crossing continents. And in that darkened cockpit, illuminated only by the soft glow of instruments and the occasional flash of distant lightning, two pilots continue their quiet vigil, guardians of the night sky, shepherding you through darkness toward dawn, 1 nautical mile at a time. The night flight isn't just optimal, it's a small miracle we've learned to take for granted. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more about aviation's